Yellowstone in the summer. For otters, it's a magical place where the living is easy. The perfect playground for these rambunctious animals. Now it's late October here in Yellowstone, and already it's winter. For wildlife, food is hard to come by under snow and ice. Luckily for the otters, there are thermal pools in the park that keep some lakes warm year-round. But the cold isn't the only problem. As the season wears on, their fishing holes are a magnet for every hungry predator in the park. Then it takes every bit of cunning and speed for these otters to survive another winter in Yellowstone.
Dawn in Yellowstone, the wilderness early visitors called Wonderland. Its wonders include the famous geyser which fills the freezing winter air with steam, Old Faithful. Here on the snow and ice live some of Yellowstone's most charming inhabitants. The world's first national park, Yellowstone is a haven for wildlife and a special place for river otters. Constantly on the move, this female otter and her two pups have been joined by a second family. Wild otters depend on open water and the fish that live in it. Here, the Yellowstone River drops 300 feet, and the group takes the direct route, almost straight down. Five of the otters make it down to the river, but one is lagging behind. He's chosen a particularly treacherous route, treacherous because the ground is covered by ice, made by frozen mist from the falls. Should he slide, he could completely lose control. It's a long, slow journey as he carefully places each step. Eventually, he makes it to the foot of the falls. He calls to his family. The group of 5 otters have made it to the middle of the river. By the time he joins them, they're already at the bank. At the bottom of the falls, they can hunt for fish from the open water. Otters are so well adapted to water that some medieval scholars classified them as fish. This mother has caught an especially large trout. Her pups are almost full grown and able to catch their own food, but it's still easier to beg from their mother. They're slowly becoming less dependent on her. Another catch draws the attention of an outsider. During the long winters, when food is scarce, some coyotes count on scavenging from the otter's catch. One of the pups tries to draw the coyote's attention away from his mother. The coyote misses his chance. He spies another chance. And suffers another miss. Fishing takes a lot of time and energy. The otters will not share willingly with the coyote. An adult otter is 4 feet long and weighs about 17 pounds. Its teeth are razor sharp and its jaws are very strong. When it's one coyote against a family of otters, the odds are in the otter's favor. The 2 families have gone their separate ways. Mother otter is alone with her youngsters, a male and female. She leads them farther up the river toward Yellowstone Lake with a growing sense of urgency, for she is pregnant with her next litter. Along the way, the male pup shows his growing independence and sets off on his own, while his mother and sister fish. Although 95% of the otter's diet is fish, they will hunt salamanders, duck, geese, even a swan. This bird is weak from starvation or disease. Unable to fly, it's trapped and slowly dying. The young otter's curiosity leads him close. The unfamiliar creature is much bigger than he is and still active. The young otter doesn't want any trouble. But the swan is left further weakened by the encounter. And the next day, it faces worse trouble. Coyotes have caught the scent. The swan is spared a lingering death. The mother has brought her two youngsters to a new den, one of many along the river. The pups explore the area around the den, familiarizing themselves with their new territory. Otters scent mark often along the river, at places where they eat or sleep. The mother goes about this task while her pups play around her. The pups pay no attention to their mother's efforts. This snowbank makes too good a slide to ignore. The scent tells her pups and other otters that she has passed by. She must leave now, and she won't be back. The two young otters search for their mother and keep returning to her last scent marks. She is already searching for another den to have her next litter. The otters, alone for the first time in their lives, call for their mother. But after a year with their mother, they will be able to fend for themselves. The mother otter has found a new den in a snowbank away from the river. She's given birth to two new pups who remain sheltered inside, completely dependent on her. Now she has to hunt for fish frequently. The otter is one of the mustelids, animals like weasels whose females are ready to mate again almost immediately after giving birth. River otters, unlike their popular relatives the sea otters, are as comfortable on land as in the water. She spreads her scent around, signposts for any male, to better her chance of mating. A successful catch, and there are no thieving coyotes around. But she is vulnerable to other opportunists. A young bald eagle is one of the best. Panicked, she dives to safety, taking the fish with her. The female otter is not the only one in search of a mate. Male otters are also on the lookout. This one has discovered a tantalizing smell along the riverbank, evidence that a receptive female is in the neighborhood. Following her scent through the snow won't be easy, but if he has to, a male otter will follow a female's trail for miles. The mother otter is still hunting and making her presence known. It's April, and winter is nearing its end. Still, she has to plow through a heavy slush of melting ice and snow. She pauses infrequently, and only to go back and feed her babies at the den. At the end of winter, bison still seek out the park's thermal areas. Coyotes scavenge the remains of a bison that didn't survive the winter. A coyote is always in search of a meal. But with spring just ahead, the male has mating on its mind. The female is more interested in eating. But the male and female otter have finally met. A gentle courtship quickly turns more vigorous and noisy. It would take more than a tumble into the river to dampen their rendezvous. Like so much of their lives, mating often takes place in the water, and it's sometimes interrupted. A second male has followed the same trail. As the two males struggle over the right to mate with the female, they are oblivious to the fact that she is no longer interested in either of them. In fact, she's leaving. The female has gotten what she came for. Female otters have what's called delayed implantation. Although she has just mated, her fertilized eggs won't develop for 9 months. Next February, her embryos will start their 2-month gestation, readying for the spring birth. The female gone, the males can only fight over who's to blame for letting her get away. With the arrival of spring, more than 100 square miles of ice begin to buckle and shift on Yellowstone Lake. Even before all the snow has melted, new players arrive on the scene. Canada geese, including more rowdy males. There's territory to stake out, prime nesting sites to be claimed, and the birds are perfectly suited to working out some kind of pecking order. In just a few days, the remains of a grinding jigsaw puzzle float away. The park is immense, 70 miles by 70 miles, covering parts of 3 western states. The high country is the last to surrender to the warmth. Snow will deliver meltwater to the lake all through the summer months. Far below, the mother has kept the pups hidden until their eyes open and their muscles are strong enough for swimming. Now 2 months old, their education is about to begin. A hollow log will be the otter's home for these easy times. The lake is teeming with fish. It's the season for reproducing, and there will soon be an even better supply of cutthroat trout. The fish swim up into the small streams that feed the lake. The cutthroat trout spawn only in the shallow water of the streams, but that's where they are most vulnerable to predators. Their spawning run always attracts a crowd, and the otter's timing couldn't be better. As the mother fishes, her pups rarely let her out of their sight. The mother leads the pups back toward the log. Eating a slippery trout while still in the water isn't advisable. Better to find someplace more stable. The log makes a fine dinner table, and the 2 pups start their feast. Dinner time is a chance to play tug of war. There will be a plentiful supply of fish for these pups this summer, while spawning lasts. This pup has eaten his fill and keeps himself amused with a pine cone. But the other pup is still wrestling with her dinner. Mother has provided well, but she still can't take a break. Before long, she has to go and get her own meal. First, she has to find the fish. Then she has to maneuver close to her prey. Then, with any luck, the fish may panic and swim towards the reeds. Once caught in the otter's sharp teeth, a trout rarely gets away, no matter how much it struggles. Underneath the gills are two red markings, which give the cutthroat its name. Back at the log, the pups pestered their mother. They seemed to have room for a second helping. She caught this one for herself, but she won't refuse her pups at this age. Reluctantly, she shares with them. Even when they drop the fish in the water, she's there to retrieve it. Otters seem to have two settings, on and off. For all of the animals in Yellowstone, summer is a time to eat, grow, and rest. So much abundance is made possible by warm days and frequent showers. To an otter, it makes perfect sense to seek shelter from the rain in the water. The storm has recharged the otter's batteries, and now they're even more boisterous than usual. After several weeks, the mother decides once again it's time to explore. Traveling with youngsters can be difficult. Something on the other shore looks unfamiliar. Wolves, reintroduced to Yellowstone not long ago. Although they are on the other side of the water, they are a reminder that even now she must remain alert. Wolves often kill animals much larger than otters. Although otters are packed with energy, enough to travel 10 miles a day, they eventually wear themselves out. With little warning, they suddenly stop and sleep. The easy times are coming to an end. The otters are on the move again, leaving the hollow log behind for another year. With the coming winter, the freezing temperatures could jeopardize the otter's aquatic lifestyle. But the rising mist reveals the presence of heat hidden underground. Yellowstone Lake is a paradise for otters because it sits on a powerhouse of geothermal activity. This energy creates warm pockets of water that attract the lake's fish, which, in turn, becomes a haven for otters. There are cutthroat trout, but also huge lake trout, a newly discovered non-native species which eat the native cutthroats, nearly eliminating their population. This is a possible ecological disaster for all who eat the cutthroat, including the otter. The young otters are now joining their mother in catching fish. It isn't as easy as it was in the stream, but the otters have plenty to eat. Even in the winter, otters eat 2 to 3 fish a day. The pups are getting bigger and must learn to fish for themselves while there's plenty of open water to practice in. They learn from their mother not just where to fish, but when and how. The family is joined by a helper otter, perhaps one of her previous offspring. The constant presence of coyotes is never welcome, and this coyote has come along at an especially awkward moment. The otters have encountered a rare obstacle to their freedom, a man-made wall. An adult otter can easily get over it, but not the younger ones. The mother otter and their new companion show how it's done. But the pups are going to need help. Even a barrier like this is no match for the quick-witted otter. They've made it. But in Yellowstone, there are dramas unfolding at every moment. 2 young bald eagles practice a breathtaking bonding ritual. It's been said that Yellowstone has 3 seasons: July, August, and winter. By September, the cold is already on the way. Wherever there are otters, there are uninvited guests, like the bald eagle. An otter probably faces more interrupted meals than any other predator. Bigger fish must be taken to solid surfaces, logs, ice, or land to be eaten. There, they are vulnerable. But the eagle fails to grab a bite. At least the coyote's not interested in stealing fish. Not when small rodents are easily caught in the grass. This time, he's caught a vole. His prosperity won't last much longer. The first icy edges of winter are already here. Frozen water is something new for the young otters. Now traveling will be even more fun. As the family cavorts on the ice and in the icy water, thick fur coats keep them warm. Otters have one of the densest fur in the animal world. The pups are nearly adult size, but they're still as boisterous as ever. A young salamander is small and slow enough for the pups to catch or play with, all part of learning the fine art of fishing. And then, one morning, it's winter. It's the young otter's first glimpse of a snowy landscape. The blizzards will be regular events now. Yellowstone's hard times are here. For the otters, the snow means additional shelter. The mother and her pups are secure inside their den. Also sheltered here are the hidden, unborn litter developing inside the mother. In this new frozen world, it'll be harder for all of Yellowstone's wildlife to find food. The ice has locked them away. But Yellowstone Lake has hot springs, and the mother otter knows where they are from winters past. Even when the air temperature is 40 degrees below zero, the springs flow at near boiling point, keeping the water above it ice-free. So some parts of the lake stay open, fishing holes for otters. And a tempting magnet for every predator in the park, including the coyote. In the middle of winter, when virtually every other animal in Yellowstone struggles to find food, the otter family feasts on trout. Now that the pups are so big, it's every otter for itself. The mother won't share anymore. It's time this set of pups became self-sufficient. Too tired to fish, the male pup sleeps, but his sister stays close to her mother. Her persistence is rewarded with a fish head. Other less choice bits of fish are often abandoned around the hole. The coyote makes constant trips to the fishing holes. One youngster, oblivious to the coyote's arrival, loses his prize. The male pup is the first one to venture out of the den. And finds himself a coyote. He's probably in no danger, but out here, without his mother and sister, he gives the coyote a wide berth. This is not the best time to come up with a catch. Catching an otter by the tail is one way to hook a fish. But not much use if it made the otter drop the catch. All you end up with is one indignant otter and no fish. The otter rolls in the snow to clean and smooth his fur. Any place his thick coat has been ruffled or torn must be put back in order, for the coat must trap air to maintain its insulation. The coyote, hanging around hopefully in case the fish reappears, finally gives up. The mother otter and female pup also encounter a coyote. But in this case, it's an encounter closer to play than aggression, since there's no fish to steal. Another familiar foe encroaches on the fishing spot. An eagle in the air is dangerous. The driving force of its sharp talons can do serious damage to an otter. But once on the ice, the eagle loses its advantage. No longer a threat, the eagle is forced off. A raven arrives, joining the search around the hole for leftovers from the otter's meals. The two birds have spotted a small treasure. It's a part of a fish left by the otters. Although the raven is smaller than the eagle, he's a master trickster, quick and cunning. Ravens are better flyers than bald eagles, and the eagle could be bombarded should he try to fly away with the fish. Persistence pays off. The mother and young female set out across the snow. The coyote is with others from his pack. They're in a contentious mood as they reestablish who's who in their hierarchy. This time, the coyotes aren't interested in fish. They mean to kill an otter. And the odds are in their favor. Caught out in the open, the young female makes a run for the den, but the mother is trapped. Her only hope is to reach her den hole 50 yards away. Her speed and agility protect her from fatal bites to the spine. She retreats with well-placed bites to the muzzle, deterring the coyotes. Miraculously, she's escaped. But spots of blood show that both sides inflicted some damage. Battered, shaken, but irrepressible, she emerges from the den to see the coyotes retreat. But a familiar figure is heading towards her. Her exploring male pup has returned, and the family is reunited. They greet joyously and set off again on their travels. Yellowstone is a paradise for otters, despite the odds. Faced with the constant threat of coyotes, eagles, even the loss of cutthroat trout, otters still thrive. But Yellowstone is also a magical place, where the warmth beneath the rocks sustains life, even in the cruelest of winters. For this alone, Yellowstone will remain a wonderland for all wildlife, especially otters.